Cities Skylines II has been receiving weekly updates for the past couple weeks now, and last week they highlighted city services with a brief highlight on electricity and water. Although this week they took a deep dive into these city services and highlighted some new features that will help you build a more efficient city, so let's go ahead and get into it. Electricity production can happen either locally or imported from outside connections. If your city runs out of electricity, it can import from outside connections if you have your power grid linked. Electricity can also be sold to outside connections if you hold an excess amount of electricity, although it might be wiser to store that electricity in a backup battery in case of power consumption spikes during the summer or winter. Producing electricity locally is the best way, since importing it is quite expensive. In Cities Skylines II, we'll see a new addition to how we provide electricity to our citizens. We will use high voltage and low voltage energy types. Low voltage can be provided by the lines included in most roads or on separate lines above or below ground. High voltage power is carried through power lines that transfer directly from the power source to a transformer station, which is then converted to low voltage for your city. You'll have multiple different types of power that you can provide to your citizens, such as renewable energy, fossil fuels, or nuclear power. And each one of these have different types of power plants. And all the power plants you can have are wind turbines, small coal power plants, gas power plants, coal power plants, geothermal power plants, solar power plants, nuclear power plants, and hydroelectric power plants. With each one of these plants, you need some form of fuel, such as wind turbines need wind, and coal power plants need coal. So how do these plants get their fuel? Well, fuel can be extracted locally with specialized industry or imported from outside connections. Importing can help your environment but will cost more than extracting it locally. With your city growing, you will need more power. Almost all of these power plants can be upgraded with the service upgrades, which were covered last week's and the devlog, as well as the video I made, which I'll link both down below for you guys. Distributing your electricity will operate differently than City Skylines. Now in City Skylines 2, it's not a means of connection, it's a means of creating a successful power plant. Each cable and power line has its limits. It can't provide an infinite amount of energy through it. If a line hits its maximum, the power consumption will bottleneck and create a blackout in that area. So make sure you design your power grid efficiently. Alongside electricity, you have water. Water is also a very crucial point in your city. In City Skylines, you used to provide water to your citizens through lakes, oceans, and rivers. And now in City Skylines 2, in addition to those, you get a new water source, groundwater deposits. These deposits are water beneath the ground, which are vulnerable to ground pollution, and they can also dry up if you're pumping too much out of it. These water deposits can also refill after a certain amount of time after drying up. How do you get this water out of the ground? You get it through groundwater pumping stations. These groundwater pumping stations are an efficient way to provide water to your citizens, but it is crucial to remember that it is not an infinite source of water. Water and sewage go hand in hand. They are both very crucial for your city to operate. Pipes will be automatically connected to some roads and will supply water and sewage to any connected building to that road. You can provide water with water pumping stations, water towers, groundwater pumping stations, and advanced water pumping stations. You can also deposit sewage with sewage outlets or water waste treatment plants. Most of these can be upgraded with the service upgrades. That was a basic breakdown for everything City Skylines this week. If you guys want to check out my upper video on city services, I'll have it linked below, and it will also be here at the end of the video. Thank you again for watching.